Hello everyone and welcome to Keto Fasting Life. I'm Steve Dickey and I gotta tell you, for a while now I've been doing the ketogenic diet and it's just so amazing the results I've seen. I had to share it with some folks and there are lots of keto channels out there, lots of people doing great stuff. Why do we need another one? I'm not sure. I just felt the need to do this. If there's anything unique about me, it is the fact that I'm a little older than a lot of people you'll see. So I'm 55. There aren't a lot of older people putting this stuff out there, so I thought it may be interesting to have that perspective. Anyway, so I have been, it's December of 2017. I've been following a ketogenic diet for about 3 months now, since September, late September, and have had some great results. So here's a before picture of me. Now this isn't before in the middle of September, this is from a few years ago. This is kind of the heaviest I was, and at this point in time, this is actually 2011 I think, and I was up around the 225 pound range, and at a 5'10" frame, that was a lot of weight. And I look back at these old pictures and I can't believe it. Now since that time I followed various types of diets like everybody does, kind of went up and down, and was able to get myself down into the two teens, like 215 range, 210, 215. And kind of level off there, but I had a hard time losing any more. It was just so tempting to eat more stuff. Then back in September, I stumbled across a video by Dr. Jason Fung, who is a nephrologist out of Toronto, who wrote a book called The Obesity Code. I'll put a link down in the description on Amazon. And I watched this video and I thought, oh my goodness, this makes so much sense. So he talks about, it's all about insulin. It's all about the way your body responds to insulin and the role of insulin in the body. And what it boils down to is when you're eating a lot of carbohydrates, you are creating high levels of insulin, because insulin is a reaction to eating carbohydrates and food in general, but carbohydrates specifically spike your insulin quite high. And we're feeding ourselves all the time with carbohydrates. So the insulin levels stay, not only are they high, but they stay consistently high. And when insulin's in your bloodstream, it says, hey, I've got a ton of food here, and unless you're in the middle of a marathon, you can't use it all right now. So it says, I got a ton of food here, I better store some of this food. So insulin triggers a storage of glucose into the cells as fat. And the problem is, the idea is you're gonna use it later on. But if you're continually feeding yourself with carbohydrates, there's never a later on. Your body always has a supply of glucose coming into the system, and you never kind of get back to using that fat that you stored for later on. So what he talks about, not only that, but if you are continually feeding your body with carbohydrates and high levels of insulin being spiked, your body builds up insulin resistance. So as the years and decades go on, you become more and more resistant to insulin. Your body needs to create more insulin to get the same effect. And down the road, that leads to type 2 diabetes and all these kinds of things. And as everybody knows, every year you kind of put on a few more pounds and a few more pounds and a few more pounds. Anyway, that's the trap I was in. So I thought, oh my goodness, this makes sense. So the ketogenic diet essentially is a diet that promotes the lowering and leveling of insulin in your system. So you're not getting these huge spikes and you're not doing things for a long period of time. So the way to do that is to reduce the number of carbohydrates. So essentially you're having very low levels of carbohydrates, high levels of fat, and kind of moderate levels of protein. And that's kind of what it boils down to. So I've had great success on this. So starting in September, when I kind of got onto this, now in 3 months, I have lost 30 pounds, which I would have never have dreamed that I would be 30 pounds lighter. I haven't been this light since, I don't know, in well over 20 years. So I am right now in the high 170s, and I'm getting there. I probably still have maybe 10 or so pounds to go, but I'm going to share my experience as I go through this, and with you, and hopefully you can subscribe and stay with me. We'll also talk about coming up, because it's not just keto life; it's keto fasting life. Fasting, the book that Dr. Fung co-wrote with Jimmy Moore, The Complete Guide to Fasting, again, linked down below, great book, talks about the role of fasting in this. Obviously fasting, if you're not eating at all, also brings your insulin levels way down. Same trigger, just a different approach to it. And I found combining a ketogenic diet with fasting has had just great success. And I'm loving it. Bacon, oh my goodness, so much bacon. Anyway, subscribe, like, and I'll follow up with lots more videos. Thanks.